your voice.
With us in the studio is President, Institute of Productivity and Business Innovation Management Africa, Remi Dairo. Remi, good morning.
Good morning.
It's nice to have you join us right now.
Again.
I know you've been following this trend since even the crackdown on internet fraudsters in the United States, but how challenging do you think this issue of cybercrime is when it comes to tackling it? Because it's been here for a
very long time.
So I think the nation, I'm going to talk from the positive angle today, because the question is, we kept on having this particular issue of cybercrime and Nigerians, talking about Nigeria. And so the question is, why are Nigerians so bright and so innovative?
Okay.
To use the internet.
To use the internet.
Right.
And then they can defraud such a big nation like the United States, that they could enter into their secret places that take as techy as those states are. That shows there's something about this country. So I would say that it's a bad image, but if Nigerian youth are able to lend the positive vibes to that skill, I think it's going to be a good one for the country. That's the dimension I'm looking at it this morning.
Okay, but before you look at that dimension, let's look at how much Nigeria is losing when you talk of cybercrime, internet fraud. How do you think that positive energy, that energy that Nigerian youths are using to, defraud persons in the, Western world, how can that energy be channeled into something positive, just like you said?
Yes, so our Institute of Productivity and Business Innovation Management, just tried to organize a talk, a kind of an engagement with youth, with people in the innovation world, innovation ecosystem. Let's discuss, what are your ideas? Because sometimes you have those ideas, if it's not well harnessed, it can be used negatively. So we are saying, can we discuss great ideas? Can we discuss innovative ideas? And then position it to the world as a product. So instead of us pushing for oil, pushing for non-oil sector, we can push for innovative ideas that Nigerians can build, and globally they can win things, and then it can become one of our a source of revenue. So in that dimension, instead of us having it in a negative way, we can have it making much more money for the nation as selling, as a patenting or selling those ideas to the world, because we have the brain already.
Yeah, but it is one thing for an individual or organization to try to have this lofty idea. But on the other hand, Nigeria, in fact, for the president to even mention it and talk about it, it is looking like a menace to the country now. But from the government perspective, that is going to be massive and very effective. What do you think government should be doing now when it comes to harnessing all these people and the ideas you're talking about?
Number one is for the government to create an enabling environment for innovators, those who are not normal. When I say normal now, they don't want to go to straight jacket of going to school, pass my exam. They are just out of the box.
Some nerds or geeks, exactly.
Exactly. They should create a kind of curriculum for them. If I say for them now, there should be a special school that takes care of such kind of people. Or even in our schools, our students have been taught to go to school, pass exam, get job.
Maths, English,
pass English, biology, and then they mention, and then you are straitjacket in that particular box until you are out of say, I'm free, then I can, So I think the government have to retweak or rework the curriculum of the education of the country, and then invest into the innovation mental capacity of Nigerians, of the Nigerian youth. It will really be an investment that is worth it. Then number three, I think the government should also provide funding, support, and say, okay, if you have such idea, let there be competition. If you have such ideas, or come for agriculture or for information technology, different sectors, solution-driven, then the government can say, okay, we are putting these billions of naira or dollars down to support that kind of industry.
Remi Dairo, thank you so much for coming on the program.
My pleasure.
Thank you. With us in the studio is President, Institute of Productivity and Business Innovation Management Africa, Remi Dairo. Remi, good morning. It's good to have you join us. I know you would have heard so much about Yahoo. In fact, I think these days, there's a way one thinks that Yahoo boys look like.
Yeah, exactly. So,
exactly.
Isn't it? So sometimes, why are you dressed like a Yahoo boy? You understand? There's this subconscious. But why is it like that? Do you just stereotyping, profiling some people in a certain way?
Sometimes it's wrong because police come around and then they arrest them. So they look like. How can you arrest them because they look like?
Maybe they have their hair in a certain way, or they're dressed in a certain way,
and they're carrying a certain bag.
Exactly. Or they have a laptop.
Having a certain phone.
Yes, or they're sagging. You know,
Exactly.
and say, oh, this is a Yahoo Yahoo person. I mean, I think it's more than that. Nigeria must be able to take advantage of that, you know, that capacity of Nigerians being in the news, you know, over the years, because we thought this would have stopped, but we kept on hearing that, you know, Nigerians, you know, defraud the whole nation, the whole developed country with their own security network and that. So wow, how are they doing it? So I think Nigeria should be able to harness this potential, this innovation, this capacity, you know, that Nigerians have in a positive dimension. So we don't keep on having the negative, you know, slap all the time.
But well, we have the positive energy, we have the capacity, we have the population, but you would not take the fact away that some persons just want to be known as Yao Yao boys. Some persons just want to actually go into this business and actually make money out of it. But what do you think the government should be doing, you know, to discourage persons like that? Because in Lagos, some places, Port Harcourt, Delta, there seem to be pockets, hubs of this kind of persons. You know, some persons just go out to want to do this business.
So I would say that it is not that they just want to. They are naturally born to be different. So it is just that we have not found the right atmosphere to build such an industry out of such kind of people. Now they are innovative people. They are disruptive people. So they are not destruction people, quote unquote.
Just divergent.
So they are,
people that think out of
so
the box.
I think the government should be able to provide an enable environment for such kind of people to flourish and find a positive energy in the right direction. And I say this, you know, Nigeria talk about oil exploitation, and they were talking about non-oil. So the capacity of an average Nigerian or somebody who is in that, you know, ecosystem is good enough as an importation. You know, so that's why the Institute of Productivity and Business Innovation Management, which I'm the president, we are organizing a talk, a kind of a discussion on how can we, you know, take this kind of people into the next level, because people are thinking, how else can I make money? I'm tired of this, you know, this place. I'm trying to see what I can do and all that. So because there's no system that helps to do that, people just find another dimension to make it happen. So we are doing discussion called innovation meetup, where people can sit down. Innovative people in the innovation ecosystem,
the tech guys,
you know, and discuss how can we take this to the next level, and then, you know, eat out of the global, bread, cake, global cake. And so, okay, now we have our own share in here too. So I think the government needs to do that. Then curriculum, our curriculum is so obsolete, is so backward. You have to just read math, English, biology, chemistry, 5 credits. And this guy said, I'm not in this box. I want to do something. And if you some of these guys, you know, they are drop out from schools, and then they drop out from university. They found something else. Can we include them? Can we
but even if we have to go into the idea of harnessing these people, is it easy to begin to identify? Because the idea of internet, you know, that aspect of things is kept in secrecy. Is there a way of identifying these people or creating an atmosphere where they come out to say, yeah, I was the guy who was doing this, but
who defrauded?
You know, how challenging would it be to bring them out together?
Until we legalize it, we legalize that sector and say, if you have an idea in social sector, come out. We'll be rewarded for it. People will come out. If you have an idea that can take agriculture to the next level, we're going to be rewarded for this, and then there's going to be A, B, C, D, you know, reward for such a person. You see people coming out and then...
So we might need an amnesty for...
Internet fraudsters. Interesting.
Remi Dairo, thank you very much for your time on this. Thank you. Also in the studio is President, Institute of Productivity and Business Innovation Management Africa, Remi Dairo. Remi, good morning. Now, let me even take it from the area of this internet fraudsters we often see and talk about. Is it a male thing, really? I've
not thought about that. Because when you said the boys, I was like, I don't know Yahoo girls.
Well, it's common.
It's a gender
among
thing.
Is it a gender crime? I don't understand.
I think.
Have you thought of that too?
I'm just thinking about it now. So I'm Yahoo boys. I'm not about Yahoo ladies. But I'm sure there are. ladies who do that. So, you know, this thing is more of a skill, or talent, and then probably there are more male, you know, in that, you know, playing that.
Tech savvy.
Who are tech savvy, but I think there are ladies too who are. But I think without talking about just the content, let's look at the content of the savvy or the knowledge, the skill, which is the innovation dimension, the disruptive dimension of Nigeria is something we have to commend. It's commendable. So I'm sure we are not commending the crime. We are not commending the act that have, you know, taken us, giving us a bad brand in the world. But I tell you, for somebody to think of how to break into a nation, to break into the security of the United States, and then get so much out, I mean, it's something we should think about. And I think beyond the negative part brand that is given to us, we should also think about how can we harness that capacity for national development and then for revenue generation for the country.
Well, let me take you back. Let me take you back. Government is trying, you know, just like President Muhammad Buhari's attention has been shifted now to curbing cybercrime. The government is trying to discourage young persons from this act, but why do we have an increase? Before, Lagos was the hub. Now we have pockets in Delta, Port Harcourt, and those places. Why the increase?
So I think it's not a Lagos thing, it's a Nigerian thing. We are all loaded with capacity. An average Nigerian think out of the box. We go through, I mean, if you remember Fela's song, Suffering and Smiling, we can suffer and smile, and then we find a way in there. And an average Nigerian have this the tenacity to go through things. So in the midst of all that, just what else would I do? What else can I do here? So before you know, either from the east or from the south, from the west, everybody is creating something. And I think that should be annexed to our own capacity.
One disturbing thing generally is that this tech-savvy guys who, you know, go into all of this, and then when they do whatever they do, imagine about $642 million in the last year. What do they really do with that money?
So,
and how can we connect into that? Well, maybe let me not ask that because it might be, but that kind of amount of money, for instance, that's the one we have found right now. That's the one that may not have been found, and even the previous years and all of that. Now, how can all of this be harnessed? That amount of money is
okay. So,
really
I think we need to have discussion, a national discussion on innovation for Nigeria, and that's what our institute is doing presently. By tomorrow, we're holding, you know, a kind of innovation meet-up where people in that sector will discuss how can we take this thing into the next level in a more positive dimension. So that means there's money in that sector, there's money in innovation, there's money in thinking, there's money in brain. So the question is, the nation have to create an environment for people people of that nature who don't want to stay in the box, who want to go beyond what is normal,
what is
you know,
ordinary,
and then let's create a sector. Then we can now get more money. We can get more, you know, capacity of finances or whatever thing that we want to create out from that industry to you know, for national development. Apart from oil, you know, as one of our sources of revenue. Brain, innovation, innovative idea, disruptive idea from Africa, from Nigeria can be a, you know, a source of revenue. Like you're saying, we can now use that money for development of the nation, for, you know, current expenditure, capital expenditure, because innovation capacity has, you know, innovation has the capacity to fund a nation. I mean, there are some companies in America, one person salary or one person company capacity can buy more of many African countries, you know, in budget, as the case may be. So that shows, I don't want to mention brands here, that shows the capacity of just one man thinking, you know,
out of the box.
You know, out of the box. So I think Nigeria should be able to take advantage of that.
Okay, but looking at cybercrime, the internet, technology as on its own, do you think Nigeria has the capacity to actually, because whatever has an advantage or will also have a disadvantage, does Nigeria have the capacity to actually watch the disadvantage this might actually bring, the technology might bring? Because look at the Western world, they're still trying to battle data privacy and all that stuff. But do you think Nigeria has the capacity to actually harness all this potential?
So there are two dimensions to it. And just like there's virus, there's antivirus. So the people who created the virus, sometimes they are the one who created the antivirus, so that they can. So if you have a discussion on, okay, what are the innovations that will come from this part of the world, or this part of the industry, then some other people have to think, what are the other side effects, or what are the things we need to look at? How can we cope, or how can we mitigate it, against it? That can be another creation of another concept or innovation that will take care of that new innovation. So even in the developed world, they are thinking this way. Some people are thinking of how do we crack into the system. So cracking, they call it cracking itself is a I don't know, there's a particular way they use
hacking.
Or hacking, thank you. Hacking itself is an industry. So there's a new system on how do we crack it? How do we hack into it? So that becomes an industry. So I think Nigeria should be able to explore and open more opportunity for people to think and innovate, and then by that be able to control and harness, the capacity.
All right, Remi Dairo, it's really an interesting time talking with you. Thank you so much for your time.